In this video we're going to show you how we make really strong DIY garage shelving anybody can make with a unique space saving design. We'll also give you loads of tips along the way. We're also designing the shelves to take a box which is 90mm long, 50mm deep and 50mm wide. The shelves also had to be made to fit in between two sockets on the wall so as not to obstruct either one. The idea is to have 3 rows of shelves capable of taking up to 18 plastic boxes and a small top shelf. So we're designing these shelves and we're going to make them with a basic frame that we're going to use for each shelf. The frame is going to be made from C16 timber and is going to be a rectangular shape. We're going to put supports across. I'll show some equations to get these accurate, but if you want to put them at roughly 600 centres or 300 or 400, you could just do that because they'll be underneath the shelves. We're going to use C16 because it's relatively inexpensive, but it's not always the straightest. But it's ideal for garage shelving. So we're going to start making the frame and we're going to use simple butt joints, which is to screw from this side through into that piece. We're going to do that on both sides so you can't see any screws when this is mounted onto the wall. And the other side is going to have a faceplate on it. So the usual method for checking things are square is a massive set square. So the next method, if you've got a large right angle to test, is if you make a mark at 30 and at 40 and then measure straight across. As soon as you achieve 50, you've got a right angle. And tip 3 or step 3, the most accurate method is to measure from corner to corner. Measure diagonally across and check both measurements are the same, then it's square. Give it a little tap either way, and then when you finally screw it up, check it again. Once we'd built the first shelf frame, we placed it on the floor and used these plastic window spacers to level it. They come in multi-packs with lots of different sizes, making life easy, which we all like. Nice. So for the next stage, we've got our frame on the floor and we're going to put 2 supports on the right-hand side, which are going to be bolted through with frame fixings into the brickwork. We're going to put 2 supports on the left-hand side, which initially just going to be screwed into the base. We're then going to put a support across here and across here, and one on the back, which our next shelf frame will slide across and sit on. And then we'll screw all these together and into the back wall. To save having annoying vertical supports on the front, taking up even more room, we decided to use diagonal support. Running diagonally from the front to the back, hopefully that'll send the weight from here all the way down to here. Well, that's the plan. To form the shape at the bottom, we used a piece of wood as a guide, drawing a line top and on the side, and then cut the shape out. And now it's time to make the second shelf frame. And we also used these equations, which might just be helpful. After we lifted each shelf into position, we put a temporary support on the front until we'd got the cross members in to make sure it was all level. We also added frame fixings to the back of the shelving frames to take any whip out. After all, you can't have enough fixings, can you? When drilling the hole for the fixing, always drill the hole slightly deeper. That allows for any debris falling back into the hole, so you can drive the fixing fully home. And now, a guide to which materials are best for the shelves. And in the number 1, MDF. And MDF is easy to cut and sand, easy to achieve a smooth finish, cheaper than plywood, more stable, and less cracking and warping. However, the dust is potentially very dangerous and MDF is easily damaged by water or damp. And in at number 2, plywood, and good in damp conditions, very strong, especially under pressure, easy to cut, low maintenance and can withstand damp conditions if treated, and great longevity. However, harder to achieve a really smooth finish like MDF, not as smooth as MDF, can be really heavy and can become easily damaged by water. And in at number 3, the wild card, OSB board. OSB is very strong, especially in shear strength, cheaper than plywood, and it's also sustainable as it's made from faster growing trees. However, its less attractive finish can be hard to achieve a smooth edge, can be moisture sensitive and swell, can be heavier in thicker profiles, does flex more than plywood, and again, the dust can be dangerous. We decided to go with MDF. We used a straight edge with a couple of sash clamps attached to the board and then cut along with the saw. We used 38mm to give a clean cut, but it will depend on your saw. We cut the sheets so they overlap the front by 20mm. We then cut strips 100mm wide and used them as face plates to hide the screws. We also sanded the edges, wearing a respirator of course. Before we fixed the boards down, we applied a layer of OB1 to help secure it all. And finally, we used a nail gun to secure the panels into place. And tip 3. We used a line of masking tape rather than drawing pencil lines on, as pencil's almost impossible to remove and doesn't look that good. For a simpler design, like this smaller shelves, you could use a front brace rather than cutting the angular supports. It's up to you. And there we have it, the finished shelves, completely customizable. Make them however you want them.